Hello, welcome back to another YouTube video. This is my second video, and today I'm going to be talking about Wild Strawberries, a film by Ingmar Bergman, and this is actually the second Ingmar Bergman film that I've watched. The only other one that I've watched is Sawdust and Tinsel, which is one of his lesser well-known films. There's like this and The Seventh Seal, and Persona. They're probably his three most well-known films. But today I thought I'd do something a bit different from what I did the previous video, and instead of breaking it up into like sections, I just do the whole thing in one bit where I just talk about the film. And so I watched this film today, and again, going back to moving on from doing what I did last video. Instead of, doing it in alphabetical order, I'm probably just gonna watch just in a random order, but my collection, and talk about them, whether I liked the films or whether I didn't like the films. And I got this one recently, so that's why I decided to watch it. And yeah, so the next, I did a post about it, actually, but the next few I will be watching will probably be the new ones that I got. So I might later today or tomorrow watch Fellini's 8.5. So that might be a a video that I might do next. But let's get into it. Wild Strawberries by Ingmar Bergman. So, what is Wild Strawberries about? Well, Wild Strawberries is a Swedish film from, I think, 1957. I could be wrong. But it's a film about an 78-year-old professor named Isaac Borg who has to travel across Sweden to receive an award. And while he's traveling, he has a number of dream sequences that cause him to reevaluate and rethink his choices and decisions throughout his life, and causes him to just rethink his entire life in general. And really, it's a film about old age and how in old age we rethink things and regret things and look over things and say maybe that was good or maybe that was bad, maybe I shouldn't have done that, maybe I should have done this. And it's also a film about kind of what happens after you die. What will people remember you? That one of the impending kind of threats in this film is that are people going to remember Isaac Borg? And this can be seen throughout the scene with his mother when he goes to visit his mother, and his mother says that none of her grandchildren come to visit her, and all her other children are dead besides Isaac. So it's also can be seen as a film about loneliness, because Isaac is a lonely person. He doesn't see his son as much. And he goes on this journey with his daughter-in-law. And it's a film that kind of, because of these dream sequences he has, and because of these, him having to reevaluate his life, he does sort of change things. And it reminds me a lot of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Although not as like sudden and as kind of theatrical a turnaround in this as in A Christmas Carol. He does kind of change, he just sort of change things as though he develops a better relationship with his son towards the end, and a better relationship with his daughter-in-law towards the end. And so although quite a sad film throughout, it does have a very happy, or should I say bittersweet ending. This film also kind of goes and looks deeper into the themes of what does life mean, and what is so important about our lives. And it takes this life, the life of Isaac Borg, and it's saying, you know, why was this life important? What did this life mean? And how did it affect the people around him? And it's a film about regret, and also about old age, about before we die, what what do we rethink our life, or do we just is it just sudden? So it's a very philosophical film, um, and a film that kind of ponders the question of what is the meaning of life. It's almost like the film It's a Wonderful Life, similar, although that's a film kind of centered more around suicide, and this is a film around like just a more natural death as old age. And I find similarities with the other Bergman film I've seen called, which is Sawdust and Tinsel. As that also has some themes of what does it mean to live, and the struggles of people, because that throughout that film as well there are themes of suicide, specifically in the ending. So it's a very philosophical film, and it's a fascinating film, but it's also a difficult film, because these dream sequences are very confusing. You find yourself in the film being like, what's real and what's not? Almost like Inception, and that's crazy to say, because they're two very different films, and almost like Mulholland Drive, two other films about dreams, but two other films also about what's real and what's not. That distinguishment, and just a film that is very makes you think. It leaves you thinking about it. So I personally really enjoyed this film, and I give it a 10 out of 10. I think it's a brilliant film. It ranks number 7 in my favorite films of all times list. So yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I need to watch some more Ingmar Bergman. The Seventh Seal is one that's on my watch list. But yeah, I really enjoyed this film. I really recommend it. So that's all for today, and see you in the next video.